Welcome to Split Screen, a production of Love OV, presented by Harvey Goodman Realtors and Harvey Goodman Realtors and ClickHarvey.com. That long weekend took a lot out of me. I'm your host, Nick Nash, streaming live from the new and improved Love Lounge, where it's 1,000 degrees outside, but the air conditioning's on inside. And I tell you what, I couldn't think of anybody better to have on the show on a day like today when it's 1,000 degrees outside. That's what my thermometer says. And we're going to be talking with her in just a moment, but I do want to thank Harvey Goodman Realtors for being a partner with us on the show. ClickHarvey.com is the one-stop resource for you if you are looking to buy or sell a home. ClickHarvey.com. If you're looking to buy, there are hundreds of homes for sale online right now for you to look through with lots and lots of nice, pretty pictures. And if you're looking to sell, they have all the resources you need to get it done quickly and easily. That's right. Sell your home quickly and easily. You never thought you'd hear those words, but you can do it with Harvey Goodman and ClickHarvey.com. Now, on to our guest from Rumer Loudin, Heating and Air Conditioning. Kelly Loudin is our guest today. Hi, Kelly. I'm doing well, and I'm nice and cool inside thanks to the air conditioning that we all know and love, and that is your business. Tell me about it.
Well, Rumer Loudin is in its 45th year. My father started the business in 1975, and then he expanded to Barnesville in 1987, and then started the Barnesville branch there. We transitioned to my husband, Sid, and I. In 1998, we bought the Barnesville branch, and then 2006, we bought the St. Clairsville branch, and he retired for 8 years, came back to work for another 3, and then decided he was really done. Our son works for us in Barnesville. He does a terrific job, manages a lot out of that branch, but we've probably doubled in size as far as customers and business since 2006. So we credit our employees with that. They do a great job. They're very professional. We just couldn't succeed without them. Yeah.
Rumer Loudin is like you said, a third-generation family business. I love family businesses. I love because it's such a rare thing these days to see a business passed on from generation to generation. So it's really neat to see a third generation, 3 generations spanning of a family business like that. That's really, really cool. When I was reading, anybody that's interested in that sort of thing, you guys have it all laid out on your website in the history section. I was reading through that, that explains about how your dad got into the industry and started his business. It's fascinating. A lot of good stuff there. It's always fun to see that 3 generations of a family business.
Well, yeah, the statistics are against them succeeding. I think a lot of family businesses, when they continue on, the kids don't realize how hard work it is. Time you're going to have to spend. But yeah, Dad started the business because he can remember his dad having to call. They had this little oil burner, and he can remember his dad having to call, and get that repaired. And he thought, I'd really like to be able to fix that for Dad. And so he went to Jackson, Ohio, to the vocational school there. I think it was a government-funded training, right? Mm-hmm. But that was still quite a distance. And then he decided, he would pursue small appliance repair, but then he was able to translate that into heating and air conditioning. And then he worked for, actually it was Wheeling Heating at the time, but it was not the current owner now. It was the Thonins. And then he went to work for Hit Heating for Ben Hit. And then from there, he started his own business.
Yeah. That's fascinating. Now, fast forward to today. I kept saying it's 1,000 degrees. I don't know how hot it actually is. If it gets hotter than 85, I call it 1,000 degrees. So anyway, it's hot outside. It was hot all weekend. I can imagine being a holiday weekend. Your phones have been going nuts this morning. Am I right in that prediction?
Well, yes, they have very much. We're talking about 55 calls this morning, and that's just in St. Clairsville. I haven't even had time to check with our secretary in Barnesville to see what she's experiencing. And so, we've got the guys running, but we did have someone on call over the weekend, and he was able to take care of some of those.
Well, good. So I was telling you before the show, I spoke with an interview that I had, a guy by the name of John Cunningham. He owns an Ace hardware store in Moundsville, West Virginia. And he was telling me during the interview, he said, don't wait. We were talking about screens, getting your screens fixed for your windows. He said, don't wait until spring. Don't wait until you need them. Bring them in the fall. We'll fix them over the winter. Then you'll have new screens for the summertime, for the warmer weather. And I started thinking, how can I apply that logic to other things? And I'm thinking, what about my air conditioner, my furnace? Should I maybe get these things serviced, give you guys a call like after the season so that I don't go to turn my AC on in the summertime and it doesn't work?
Well, most people don't think of maintaining their furnace like they do their car, and they should, right? So
I don't even maintain my car, so there's some things I can learn from all of this.
Your days are numbered. Your days are numbered there. Anyway, yeah. So your furnace runs like over 200,000 miles. If you were going to equate your furnace to a car, it runs well over 200,000 miles at 65 miles an hour. That would be equivalent of what your furnace runs. And so a lot of people don't check their filters. They need to check their filters. You need to make sure your outdoor coils hosed off. And there isn't like mow the grass and throw it right at the air conditioner because it needs to expel the heat it's taking from your house. You need to check your drains, things like that. And if people can't, then we have a maintenance agreement. So we can come twice a year and check those things out for you, make sure your refrigerant levels are okay. And we usually try and do that whenever there is a transition season. This has been the past couple of years have been very odd because it goes from winter to summer. We were talking about that too.
Yeah.
Like, boom.
We don't have spring anymore.
No.
I don't know where spring went, but spring doesn't come anymore.
No. So we check it all for the cooling season, and then we come back in the heating season and check, because there's very weird things that can happen to your furnace flues and stuff. There's wasp nests, birds' nests, thick spider webs, and your safety won't let your furnace, run because it thinks there was a clog in your flue, which is true. You don't want that backing up. So anyway, we check that, and heat exchangers, and if you have any belts and all the electrical connections and things like that. So we do that twice a year. And so that's like $240, and it's peace of mind. So then we give a discount if there are any repairs found. But maintaining it goes a long way towards making that piece of equipment last longer. So don't ignore it. You've got to maintain it.
There's a question coming through on our the comments section. I thought it was an interesting one. Jane wants to know, should we cover our AC unit during the winter? I've always wondered this myself.
Well, it's interesting because we've already had a call where someone forgot that they had covered it, and then it wouldn't run.
They turned it on.
And they turned it on and it wouldn't run. And so we had to go out, and we found, of course, the cover was still on. And
and that was the only problem? All they had to do is take the cover off?
We're there. We're going to check other things too. But yeah, that was the case. There's lots of schools of thought on that. A lot of times when you cover it, then it condensates underneath there, and it can make your paint, chip or bubble, or it may hurt your paint. So it's something we don't necessarily recommend just because of that. But some people want that protection for the unit.
Are you going to cause any damage by not covering it?
No.
Really?
No.
Okay.
Just don't,
because I don't cover mine.
Yeah, just don't mow your grass into the coils and stuff. A lot of people do that. They don't look at where they're throwing their grass when they mow. Or we get several repairs a year for where the weed eater, they were too close and ripped out some wires. So we've had calls on those too. But overall, we don't recommend it just simply because of the sweating and condensation underneath.
Speaking of condensation, Jane was also asking me about condensation on the windows. She said she got up this morning. There's condensation on the inside of the window. Is it on the inside of the windows? Yeah. What does that mean? Does that mean there's like the air's not circulating the right way, or is that something completely different?
Yeah. No, that's interesting too, because especially newer homes are built so tight that there's no air infiltration or filtration. And so that'll cause some condensating as well, because you're putting humidity in the air with cooking and showers and washing your clothes and things like that. So usually we've put in what are called ERVs, and sometimes they're called HRVs, but what that does is it helps control the exchange of fresh air in the house, and it can help eliminate that. Yeah, because that can cause mold on wooden windows and
Right.
such. And yeah, so that's one way to mitigate that, is to have something like that put. And we give free estimates, so if someone that wanted to look and see what that would cost, we could do that. But that's what's causing that. The houses are very tight.
Okay, speaking of estimates, if somebody wants an estimate on something and maybe they need service, they can reach you, I would imagine, through your website. Also, you've got a phone number. What is it?
St. Clairsville, 740-695-2487. And then Barnesville is 740-425-3134. Yeah, we've taken requests through our website as well. Our offices are manned 8 to 4:30, and we don't close for lunch. We do keep, answering service after hours and on holidays and weekends and such. So people can always leave a message, and then our on-call tech will return their call. But just allow a couple of hours, because, if they're on a call or such, then they'll definitely, need some time there to take care of that and then call you back. So.
Yeah. I'm bringing up your website now, Rumer Loudin. It's rumerloudin.com. And it's a very nice website. I always like to compliment people on their websites. It's a very nice one. And I was looking through here earlier, and I saw here you can see geothermal. I don't understand what geothermal is. I don't know what that is. I've never heard of that. What can you explain that to me real quick?
Sure. So geothermal uses the ground to heat your home, and then it circulates water that has like an antifreeze in it, and it circulates water in a closed loop, and it's drawing heat from the ground and putting it in the house. Well, what happens is in the summer, it's reversed, and it's taking the heat from your home and putting it in the ground. So you don't have an outdoor unit, you only have an indoor unit. And then it also circulates through your water heater to help provide heat for your domestic hot water. So it's very, very, very efficient. There's a tax credit right now for that. It was 30%, but they're reducing it every year now, and it's 26% tax credit to have it installed. Now, the price difference is going to be the cost of the ground loop. Okay, so you're going to have an indoor unit anyway. And especially if you're building a new house, you're going to have ductwork installed. You're going to have, heating and air conditioning you can put in anyway. So if you want something super efficient, then you can, include this in your home loan, and you're paying just minimal amount over the, for that. But the ground loop is what makes the cost difference between it and an air-to-air system, so to speak.
Okay.
And we have geothermal in our house. We have since 1992, and we love it. We love it. We just set it and forget it. A lot of people want to turn that thermostat off and then turn it back on when it's hot. And that's definitely not the right thing to do. You're better off to just set that thing and forget it. Now, some people are going to go out of town. They might want to adjust it a few degrees. But what happens is your humidity builds up in your carpet. It builds up in your curtains. It builds up in your bedding. And so when that air conditioner has to run and dehumidify, it's going to have to run and suck all that out again. So you're better off just to maybe turn it up a couple degrees, and then turn it down a couple degrees, but don't shut it off, because it's gonna, it's not saving you what you think it would.
I'm glad I'm doing this interview, because I'm learning a lot of things.
It's more complicated than you think.
I'm not doing any of those things.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot more complicated than you think. But geothermal, especially when oil and LP gas was so high, it was well over $4 a gallon. The geothermal payback was in 8 years. But now that things have, the price of those things have gone down and stabilized, the payback's longer. But we really like RGO. So we're living it. We're not just selling it, we're living it.
That's right. A couple of questions coming in from Mikey. How important is it to use the right people to service your AC and furnace units, like outside of general home warranty services? I'm going to say that it's probably pretty important, but that's me. I'm the guy sitting here learning all these things and doesn't know anything about this stuff. So well, Kelly, how important is it to have the right person looking at your stuff?
Well, we have chosen not to work with warranty companies, and this is why. Usually we get to be the bearer of bad news. We're the ones that get to say, oh, well, okay, so usually there's a deductible you have to pay the whoever the company is coming to look at it. But oftentimes people don't read the fine print. So it'll say, refrigerant is not covered. Okay. So finding the leak is not covered. If there was a problem with the system of the installation, like the ductwork wasn't run right or something like that, they're not going to cover it. They don't cover something they term general maintenance. All right. So if it's a plugged filter and people didn't change it, they'll say, well, that was part of regular maintenance. Or if their drain is plugged, they'll say, oh, that's part of regular maintenance, and we don't cover that. So you really need to be careful about the home warranty that you're buying, and you need to read the fine print and understand it. And we just chose that we didn't want to be in the middle. So we will work directly with the homeowner, and then they can deal with the home warranty company. But too often we were caught in the middle, or you have to call and get approval. And we're sitting there on the phone for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes trying to get some kind of approval. And we don't have that kind of time.
Yeah.
So, that's why we've chosen. So as far as choosing the right person, you want to find people that are trained, that have experience, that you want someone, especially when you're buying a new system, that is going to be there to take care of any warranty. What we have found with new homes, brand new homes, is that oftentimes they're hiring someone who's very cheap and from out of town, and they won't come back and handle. And they're cheap because they know they're not going to have to come back and handle any warranty work, right? So when you call and you say, oh, well, I need this fixed and it's under warranty, they go, oh, that's too far. We don't travel for the warranty. Yeah. This poor homeowner is stuck with really no one to handle the warranty, because what the builders like to say is, oh, well, anybody can handle the warranty, and no, they can't. You have to be have an established relationship with that manufacturer. So please be careful. And I've put this article on our website too, to say, ask that builder who's putting this system in, because which one of your systems in your house are you going to really need the most and may break down the most. It's the fact that it's going to be the HVAC system, and maybe right. But anyway, so I say find out who's putting it in and who's going to take care of the warranty, and ask for specific names and contact information. All right.
Know that stuff. You got to know it. Read the fine print.
I feel sorry for people because they're so excited about this new house. It's the American dream. And
so often you get it, especially when you get something new house, especially if you're younger. I remember when we bought our first house, it was like, I didn't care what I was signing. I'm just signing whatever. And yeah, right. And sometimes, as you get older, you realize you got to read this. You got to read this stuff that you're agreeing to. A couple other things before we finish up, Kelly. A comment from Tony. Tony, thank you so much. She says, very informative, great show this week. Appreciate you, Tony. And Mikey, one more question, says, general life of an AC or furnace unit, rule of thumb, when to buy a new one.
Okay. Usually we work on air conditioners that are like nearly 40 years old sometimes, but they've been very, very well taken care of. And that is like double the life of what you normally get. So I would say 17 to 20 years on a furnace or an air conditioner. Now, like right now, the air conditioners are so much more efficient than they were 20 years ago, that, you should realize some savings operationally from putting in a new one. Yeah.
Now, do the new ones, is it one of those things where the new ones last just as long as the older ones did because they're more efficient, or they last longer than older ones did? I know a lot of times, like especially with mechanical things, it's like they always say they don't make them like they used to. Like an 80-year-old air conditioner is going to last 10,000 years or something, and the new ones always break. But I feel like the newer ones last just as long as the old ones.
Well, I would say no, they're not made like they used to be. They just aren't, because like I said, we're working on stuff sometimes it's 40 years old, 30 years old, and I really don't feel like you would get that kind of mileage out of them.
But they're more efficient. You're going to save money in the long run on a new one anyway.
The thing is, there's so many of the components are made in the same places. All right, so there's so many compressor manufacturers, only so many contactor manufacturers. There's only so many, you know, component manufacturers. And so the thing is, you've got to find a dealer that's going to take care of you. All right. So they're all going to have their own quirks and challenges sometimes, especially as the government mandates that you have to do certain things, especially to accomplish efficiency.
Right.
And they're trying to do it very quickly in response to government mandates. So anyway, it's just, you're better off to find a good contractor that's going to be there well into the future to take care of you and honor any warranties. There's something called a taillight warranty in this industry, and usually if they're cheap, and that's what people go for sometimes. Well, I'm going to go with the cheapest. Well, okay, fine, but what's going to happen is when you see their taillights go out of sight, that's when your warranty ends.
Yep.
Okay, so you know you really got to weigh who's going to be there for you in the future.
All right. Rumer Loudin, rumerloudin.com. Let me bring up the website address there at the bottom. Rumerloudin.com. You can reach these guys in St. Clairsville and Barnesville. Kelly, thanks so much for being on the show. A lot of great information. And again, if you're watching on the Love OV Facebook, make sure to find Rumer Loudin on Facebook as well. All the info there. And again, if you need your air conditioner serviced, it's hot. You don't want to be without it. Rumer Loudin, they'll get you taken care of.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly. Have a great week, okay?
You too.
All right. That is Split Screen presented by Harvey Goodman and ClickHarvey.com. If you are in the market to buy or sell a home, ClickHarvey.com is your one-stop shop, your one-stop resource. If you're in the market to buy, they have hundreds of homes for sale right now, ClickHarvey.com. If you're looking to sell, they can make it quick and easy, ClickHarvey.com. Thanks to Harvey Goodman Realtors for joining us as a partner on the show. Thanks again to Kelly Loudin for joining us today on the show from Rumer Loudin, rumerloudin.com, and again on Facebook. We will see you again on, let's see, today is Tuesday. We'll see you again on Thursday here on Split Screen on Love OB on Facebook.